Friends, in this video, I'm going to speak about what you can do to force USCIS to get you your green card and your work permit if you've been waiting an enormous amount of time and they simply have not printed your card yet. We're going to talk about that issue in this video, and then we're also going to talk about, well, what in the world is going on there? Why haven't they printed these cards yet, guys? So that's what I'm going to cover in today's video. Thanks so much for being with me. If you have not yet subscribed to this channel, go ahead, do so right now. Welcome to our community, and then hop over to Instagram or Facebook and follow me there as well. Now let's get into it. So some of my colleagues on YouTube have done terrific videos about this issue with respect to the delays at USCIS. The fact that, number one, they are actually not printing green cards or work permits in the way that they should be printing them and with the speed that they should be printing them. Why not? Well, because the contract that they had with the outside contractor that does the production of these green cards and work permits, that contract, guys, ended in June. And so USCIS had hoped to bring that particular service in-house. But you know what's going on in-house there, right? They're preparing for a major furlough, and some of their staff are working from home remotely, and it's just quite a mess there from what we're hearing. And so that work, guys, has just simply not been done. And so according to USCIS, this is their numbers, according to USCIS, approximately 50,000 green cards and 75,000 employment authorization documents promised to immigrants and non-immigrants haven't been printed yet. And so if you're out there and you did your biometrics for your EAD, for example, the work permit, and you've been waiting way outside of the normal processing times, now we know what's going on behind the scenes and why you have not yet received your work permit. And same thing with respect to your green card. If you've been waiting, if you got that approval and you've been waiting for a really long time now we know the green card is just not being printed. The Washington Post did an excellent article which broke the news. They argue about the fact that having a green card, guys, as many of you know, under our law, if you are a lawful permanent resident, by law, you're supposed to carry that green card with you to show your residency status. And if you do not have it on you, if you're stopped by law enforcement, that's actually a misdemeanor. Now, do we really enforce that? You know, like every state, is that really being enforced regularly? No, it's not, but it is still an issue and it can still lead to a misdemeanor. And so the Washington Post article starts off that way by saying, hey, the government requires green card holders to carry a card, otherwise it's a misdemeanor, but yet they're not producing the cards to give to people in the first place. Then the article goes on to quote a USCIS employee who says, our volume of inquiries has spiked concerning cases being approved, but the cards are not being produced. A lot are expedite requests and we can't do anything about it. It's costing people jobs and undue stress. Of course it's costing people jobs, right? People need a work permit, number one, to work, and without one, many employers are not going to allow them to be on site. And people who may have already had a work permit but were waiting on their renewal, again, some employers are taking a very hard line position and they do not want the employment to continue without having that renewal card. The article goes on to say that normally within 48 hours of an applicant's approval, USCIS's online system indicates that a card has been printed. Immigration attorneys across the country have been puzzled recently because these status updates never appeared. Many thought the delays were tied to COVID-19, which has caused other service disruptions. And I also thought that a lot of the delays related to the cards being produced were related to COVID-19. And certainly that's what I've been telling people who meet with me. But now we know what's really going on behind the scenes. They do not have a contractor that's producing these cards, and so it's causing major slowdown. So now let's shift to what you can do. What can you do? How can you really fight against this. If you're in the position where you've gotten that approval and your card should have been mailed to you, either your green card or your work permit, what should you do? Well, friends, as you've heard me say before, and some of you who have had consultations with me have heard me say that when you're way outside of the processing times in a case like this, you could always file a mandamus. That's a very strong act or action that you can take in federal court to force USCIS to do something, to take an action, whether that action is to make a decision on your file because it's just been pending way too long, way outside of case processing times, or whether it is to produce the card after you've gotten your approval and you were promised a card. And so a mandamus is the strongest thing that you can do. Yes, you can call them, put in these inquiries, and they'll do an SR request for you and all of that. But really, guys, when it's a problem like this, I think that if we have enough mandamus in the system, in federal court across the country, complaining about the lack of production of green cards and work permits, I think that's obviously going to pressure the agency to really hone in, obviously, on this problem and fix it quickly. And so, yes, we know that they have resource problems. They're getting ready to furlough quite a bit of people starting August 3rd, unless something happens between now and then to stop that. Yes, we know there's mismanagement of funds. The agency is not being managed the way it should be managed, obviously. But setting all of that aside, that's not your fault, right? Because you've done your part. You've paid your fees. You've filled out the applications correctly. You've done the interviews if you needed an interview, and you got the approval. And now by law, you are required to have these documents and these secure IDs, and they're not producing the IDs. And so, friends, I do encourage you to think about whether a mandamus is an appropriate action in your case. Speak with the lawyer, speak with us, give our office a call so that we could look at your case as well and determine whether it's a good fit for a mandamus action. But guys, when we have USCIS acknowledging that they don't have a way of printing green cards or work permits these days, that's an issue that needs to go before a court, because they need to fix this problem and they need to do it pronto, because it is causing significant hardship in the lives of so many people. And in this case, it's 50,000 green cards and 75,000 employment authorization cards or document that should have been produced that have not been produced yet. And so let's hold them accountable, and let's just take these aggressive steps, take these very aggressive steps to get what you are entitled to receive. So friends, I hope you found this video helpful. Be sure to share it with other people. Give us a call. And again, let us take a look at this issue to see whether a mandamus is a good fit for you. Guys, I will see you in the next one. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.